After 10 games this season, Real Madrid is undefeated, but the build-up play has still not improved. Tactically, the team has been a mess. Yesterday, we saw Carlo Ancelotti go from a traditional 4 in the back to 5, with a strategy that left the team vulnerable in transition. After the game, Carlo said that out of possession, Tchouaméni didn't step into the 6th zone, which left a huge hole behind the pivot players. Not only are we not creating quality chances through our fluid build-up play, we're also giving chances to the opposition. Although we're still undefeated in the league, the writing is on the wall. Typically, Carlo Ancelotti is the calmest one on the sideline, but even he lost his cool and is getting yellow cards. I know some of you will say this is trivial, but I don't think so. Carlo senses that things are not moving in the right direction. Too often this season, we've relied on individual moments of brilliance. And honestly speaking, that has always been Carlo's way. As critical as we are of him, we can't deny that Kaká, Cristiano Ronaldo, Benzema, and soon Vinicius all won the Ballon d'Or under him. He doesn't restrict his attacking players, which leads to individual moments of brilliance like we saw with Luka Modric. With the long-term injury of Dani Carvajal, that's probably why Carlo Ancelotti opted with 3 on the back in the last game. In an effort to reduce the defensive responsibilities from Lucas Vázquez to Eder Militao on that side, and give Lucas Vázquez the freedom to move higher up the pitch. In theory, this idea is not bad because it gives Vázquez that ability to go higher up the pitch, put crosses into the box, and be more effective in the attacking third. But what this also meant was Jude Bellingham was then shifted out into an interior position on the right-hand side into a midfield 3. And this just meant that he had to do more defensive work, more running, more tackles, and not be in a position where he can really affect the game in a way where we all know Jude Bellingham can. In this game, Jude Bellingham essentially played the Federico Valverde role. Look, when we scouted Jude Bellingham and we were linked with him, the scouting report said that the one area where Jude Bellingham was not strong was his long-range passing. But otherwise, his metrics were really good across the board as a midfielder. But when you have a player who's that good in a crowded zone with his back to goal, I don't think the best use of him is playing him on the right-hand side of that interior 3. So I really think that Jude Bellingham playing in that role is something we need to look at very carefully. Because we saw how good he was last season. But if he's spending most of the game defending and running back and putting in tackles, rather than having the ball at his feet in the opposition's half, that doesn't work in our favor. Another talented creative player who's only started 2 games for us this season is Arda Güler. Arda Güler has not only just started 2 games, but he's hardly featured for us at all. But his cameos for Turkey that I've seen, he has looked so sensational. He's looked like such an incredible talent. With the loss of Toni Kroos, we have essentially lost that control in midfield. And Carlo Ancelotti said he wants to move to a more vertical type of footballing philosophy. And with players like Luka Modric and Arda Güler, you get that control back. And so what you're seeing is Carlo Ancelotti is really focusing on having players cover as much ground as possible, sitting in a deeper block, rather than having players who can be a little bit more creative on the ball and adjusting the system to maybe have Jude Bellingham higher up the pitch. It's because we have no patterns of play. Some of the challenges with creating consistent patterns of play is having players play in the same position over and over. They develop that fluidity and comfort in that position. But it seems like every week since the season has started, players are playing in different positions. Sometimes we're playing 3 up front. In the last game, we played essentially a 3-5-2. So far this season, we've gone from everything to a 4-4-3, a 3-5-2, a 4-4-2. Every week, our players are playing different positions. And we wonder why there's no patterns of play. The players are constantly looking over their shoulder to understand what they should be doing with the ball and without the ball. If you guys remember our goal against Liverpool in the Champions League final in Paris, Luka Modric receives the ball and he's being pressed, so he sort of drops his shoulder and he takes both of the players out of position before he plays a line-breaking pass to Dani Carvajal. And that essentially eliminated 2 players in that press, is what led to our first goal, our first and only goal in that match. So you need those types of players. You just feel like something is missing from this team, especially in those deeper zones. But it's not just that. It's not just about having somebody like a Toni Kroos just come in and initiate the build-up play. It's not just that. It's recovering the ball after we lose it. It's the positioning out of possession as well. You can point to 20 things that are not good in this team right now. But the pressing from the front as well from Mbappe and Vini hasn't been that great. Has it improved? Am I seeing more effort from both of them? Yes, I am. But Carlo hasn't figured it out. We were so lucky in that match that Celta Vigo didn't score more than just 1 goal. And that's in large part thanks to Thibaut Courtois. Any other goalkeeper in the world playing for Real Madrid that game There's no way we take 3 points for that match. And the other thing is, we're so lucky that so far this season, we haven't played an elite European squad. Because if we had, there's no way we would have walked out of that game unscathed. This is going to be a tough month for us. We've got Dortmund, Milan, Barcelona. These are not easy matches. And the other thing I want to talk about in this video is the right back situation. This is something we need to address this winter, because we can't go this whole season with just Lucas Vázquez and Eder Militao playing at right back. It's just not going to cut it for the season. I've heard reports, and I don't know how true this is. It's probably not that accurate, but I've heard that if Trent Alexander-Arnold tells Liverpool that he's not going to renew, and he encourages them to accept a bid in January to sort of recoup some sort of money from a transfer bid, that they might consider doing something like that. But there needs to be some sort of sense of urgency from Real Madrid. Look, the other troubling thing is every time Carlo Ancelotti has tried to rotate the squad, for example, like he did against Lille, it didn't work out in his favor. So that's going to make him more stubborn, and that's going to mean less rotation. Let me know in the comments if Valverde has not started a single game this season. Is that really good for him? Especially if we are playing something like 60 or 70 games a season, do we really want to start Valverde every single game? What do you think is going to happen to him eventually? This is truly not good enough for Real Madrid. It's just not. And the other thing about David Alaba's recovery, it's not going so well. What has it been? Almost a year now that he tore his ACL? I'm not seeing any footage of him training with the first team. Now, we've heard mixed things. The first report said that David Alaba wasn't going to be healthy enough to be back this season. He may not play elite football. And then we heard other things about him coming back. So let's see. If we lose him, then again, can we go the whole season with 2 center backs essentially and Tchouaméni? We need to be more active in this winter's transfer window. I know we haven't done it for 6 seasons, but there's more games now. The margin for error is less. And the last thing is, Brahim Diaz should be coming back soon, which is really great news. Apparently his recovery is going well, and he's really needed in this team. Not only from a rotation of players perspective, but just his quality as a player. So what do you guys think? Are you optimistic that we can find that extra gear this month and actually get over the finishing line? I actually think Barcelona style suits us better, because if they press high and they leave opportunities for our transition players, I do think we can do damage against Barcelona. Am I overreacting? Do you guys agree with my analysis? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Hala Madrid.